What's up, kids? Yeah, as long as every now and then a mom calls me, like some lady did from some town in Michigan. Um, she said her son was a little white boy trying to be a crip or something of that nature. And he's acting all tough and talking back to her. And he had seen many programs like Scared Straight and all that, but he never was touched by any of those or those American Me movies and all that BS, those fake movies, and that none of that ever touched him. But after watching my interviews and reading my story, she said that it brought tears to his eyes, and he said, "Mom, this guy is the real deal right here, and I can feel his pain and what he's been through." And you know what, Mom? I don't want to be from gang anymore. And his mom called me. You know how you guys can do that video chat and all that on the internet. And she just wanted to thank me for helping her son to, get away from that way of life. And, every now and then she'll call me. She tells me he's still doing good. He's going to school. He ain't hanging out with those kids anymore in the alleyway and trying to act tough and you know. With his pants sagging and all that, that he's totally changed. And so as long as I keep getting those types of messages every now and then, I'm going to continue to post what I'm posting for the kids. Nobody likes it. I got a dude earlier, some side buster, whatever, from some other state. Anyway, he said that he reported me because of what I was posting. I'm like, what the hell? Where the hell did this dude come from? You know, what came way out of left field with that? Talking about he reported me. You guys can see I ain't blocked, so apparently his little reporting didn't do any good, you know. Um, so, because I'm still here and I'm still posting, they didn't block me, so he went crying saying that I was crazy. Man, that's what I don't understand about these haters. He must be some type of weirdo or something, hurting kids. Because any of the real motherfuckers, the real G's, they look at it like, you know what, if he can help the kids in any way whatsoever, even the ones doing life, the lifers, a lot of them, like they've told me before, you ain't got life, why are you doing all this madness? Get out there, like Danielle used to tell me, the treasure chest of all good things. Uh, was it worth it? Now you're in here with me, sitting up in the oil light foot, when you could be out there enjoying life. When he had put me in charge of all of Chino, he had said, how would you like me to appoint you, not just to run this building, but to run all the buildings here in Reception Center Central, Chino Prison. And not only that, but you'll also be running RC West, Reception Center West, which is a quarter mile away. It's an open dormitory. They have contact visits. CIM mainline, which is also contact visits. That's where everybody's already doing their time. It's not a reception center. It's a mainline, level 1 and 2. Contact visits as well. And CIM East, Chino East, Reception Center East. The White Elephant has got a big white wall around it. That's why they call it the White Elephant. That's where all the parole violators go to do their parole violations. That has contact visits. So you guys can imagine all the important stuff coming in and out of that place. And it was all going through me. And that was a big deal for me to take on that type of a position. Like I said before, none of this is dry snitching or telling. I already got convicted and got written up for all this stuff. I'm no longer pushing that line, but if I can help the kids, I will. Nobody likes it. Well, like I said, when you see me handle it, don't post, oh, you little, I reported you and all that. That's nothing. That ain't gonna do nothing. That ain't gonna kill nothing or let them die, or let nothing die. So, you got a problem? When you see me, tell me to my face. Simple as that. Save all the drama for your mama. All this, I reported you and this dude's crazy. No, apparently you must be crazy, dude, because if you're not down with helping the kids, and you, like I said, you must be some type of child abuser or molester or some shit. But anyway, so um, them type of people are neither here nor there for me, because what I do it from the heart, and as long as I think what I'm doing is right, that's what counts. these days. I'm no longer part of anything. I'm my own man. That's that. So I've been out 14 years, going on 15. Uh, I've been convicted already about in regards to all this stuff I'm talking about. The gentleman, he's deceased now. He can't get himself in any trouble. He's rest in paradise. I just call him Sitting Strong because he used to write everything, and he would sign Sitting Strong, and he would call me Lightfoot. So we'll call him Sitting Strong. Sitting Strong is no longer here. He's resting in paradise once again. So I'm not gonna throw his name around. I don't want him once again being restless in his grave because he's not here to talk about for himself. So I won't mention his name. I won't throw it around. I'll let him rest in peace. But when he assigned me that position, like I said, after I got rolled up to the hole, he found the light fixture I had torn out of my wall and made a line because he was in deep segregation below me, and I made a line down to his cell. And once I got rolled up, some shit jumped off. I went to the hole. They found that line. I got written up. I got, I'm done with all that. It's a done deal. It's all water under the bridge. So can't nobody say I'm dry snitching and all this about, contact visits and all that. Those phony movies, American Me and all that, have already exposed all that. So this is all no secret. So just so you people know. And when I took down that position, it was a very hard position because I had to make all these decisions. He said, once you make the decision to represent me as my worker, then nobody can tell you anything. You're gonna be making the decisions. I'm gonna let everybody know. All the other big guys, I'm gonna let them all know that are here and that are out on the streets that you're the guy here, that you got all this. So any decision you make, use your head. Get a couple of dudes that are solid and have a good head on their shoulders, and between the three of you make the decision. That way, the three heads are better than one. Yeah, he schooled me so good, so much beautiful things that he taught me. Sitting strong. So, I took all that to heart, and anything. I always try to avoid any type of conflicts. I always try to talk things out. I didn't want to get people hurt because he taught me it's not good to get people hurt or sent to the hole because it's not worth it unless it has to be done. So then you guys need to raise your hand, but to do something, hit somebody, not raise your hand to do a mission, but to raise your hand and hitting somebody or doing some damage to somebody, inflicting injury upon someone. It's best to use this instead of this. So talk it out if you can. The last resort, then you use violence, but always try to do things in a civilized manner, by using democracy. See, so I learned a lot of beautiful things from the treasure chest of all good things. So if I'm sharing this with you kids, I'm not going to mislead you. Like I said, if you guys ever need to get at me, I'm right here. Holler at your boy, and I'll holler right back at you. I'll never mislead you. Like I said, I would never let any kids put a shank in their hand and pick up the shank and do a move. I always did everything because I was good at it, and I knew how to get away with it. I knew how to approach the person that needed to be taken care of. I had done that, been there, done that many times before. So I said, man, why am I going to get this kid in trouble? Let this kid go home with his mom and dad and his family. He's a youngster, 18, 19 years old. Only doing a couple of years. I ain't going to turn this couple of years into a life sentence. I got this. I didn't have but one daughter at the time. These guys had a bunch of kids, a lot of them, and a wife, and I wasn't married. I really had nothing to lose, so I wasn't get anybody caught up. I don't know people that send kids out on a mission that got 6 months to do now. That's never been me. Like I said before, I wasn't an armchair general. Something needed to be done, I handled it. The way real motherfuckers do it, see? I never let anybody do anything that was my responsibility. Having said that, so earlier I was telling you about the story about me and this kid, this dude. He was a grown man, bigger than me, big dude, black belt in Taekwondo. 85% of his martial art was feet. So he did a lot of kicking. We fought in the cell. I got tired of him bragging about what he did to my homie's pad when he shot it up. He almost hit the little brother. He didn't do anything. He didn't kill nobody. He just the glass broke and cut the little brother or something of that nature. So I didn't like what he was doing. So I said, you know what, I'm from Longo. What's up? And we handled it. We fought. But then we were both trading trial. So I had to come down from court to go out to court for child custody. And that case where, the, fighting with the two correctional officers. So I was out to court for that. They put me on the main line. I was supposed to go to High Power 1750, but I skated because the computer was down when I went through IRC, Inmate Reception Center, 9500, where L.A.County jail, the top floor is where they have classification. And that day the computers were down, and that's why I skated. I went out to mainline. So I'm going to Long Beach court. Me and this dude fighting the tanks twice. We got the court shut down for the day because we were both leaking so much blood that everybody that was standing along the wall on the benches so we could fight, so we could have the whole floor, got sprayed with blood. He was cut, I was cut. Like I said, I'm ex-boxer pro. He's well, not ex, but martial arts expert, high roller. The homies that watching this know who I'm talking about. Anyhow, so we fought. Second day, we fought again, and they made him a blue band, K1, and me a K2. So we go on different buses, and he'd have to be on the first floor, and me on the second, or no, they made him a K3 and me a K2. That meant I had to be on the second floor and him on the third. We couldn't even be housed on the same floor. But we accidentally, well, I guess they did it on purpose. They put us back in the same cell the second day, and we fought again. Well, after that, he threatened that he was going to shank me. So, like I said, when you're locked up, you cannot let anybody threaten your life. So, you need to get that person before they get you. So, what I did that day, I went back to 3800 and I told the trustee, the trucha, he was pushing the broom on the catwalk there. I said, I need a piece because this dude's gonna freaking shank me when I go to court. So, I need a strap. So, he hooked me up. I went out to court that morning with the strap. They search you randomly while you're walking down the hallways to go to the holding tanks for court. Luckily, I didn't get pulled over. Hey, you get against the wall, and they do random searches. The deputy standing in the middle of the hallway. I skated through all that. Guess I didn't look like I needed to be searched or something. I just had a stone, just a regular look on my face. I wasn't panicked. I wasn't worried. I just walked like nothing with that piece on me. And I made it. So I go in the holding tank, and there's a little homie in there that he claims Longo, and he says he's related to some of my homies. And being that these homies grew up with me, I let it be. I asked him, do you want anything? Do you want to be part of this? Because you know what's up with this cat, and I'm getting ready to deal with him. So I don't want to go in there by myself unless I have to, because I don't know if anybody's going to jump on my back. So you want to just watch my back? And he was like, no, I'm going home. I said, all right, we'll leave it at that. Just go home. I got this. So I ran up in the cell because they leave the gates open. And that's the only place I could get them, because they weren't going to put us back in the same tank again. The sergeant had already said, these guys already fought twice in a row in these holding tanks. They cannot be housed together, so I knew I had to. The only opportunity was right then in IRC, the county, where everybody waits to go on the buses to court. Different cells, holding cells, big holding tanks. A lot of movement. They leave the gates open so people can step in the cell and wait in there for the bus to come get them. And so I knew that was the only opportunity I had. So the K3s, they put them right in front of the desk. There's a deputy, a county sheriff deputy behind the desk, and here's the tank, and the door's open, and he's sitting behind the desk right there. So I said, the hell with it. I just ran up in there, did what I had to do, and I ended up going to High Power. They messed up. When I hit High Power, they're like, what the hell was he doing on the main line? They recognized me. The deputies already know me from the High Power module. I've been there so many times before. Like, why was he on the main line? Who fucked up? Put this dude on the main line. He should have been red band as soon as he came in to court. As soon as he came into the county jail from prison, state prison, when he got off that bus, they should have red banded him and sent him here. So somebody fucked up. So that was another reason why I was able to skate on this case as well, because I should have never been on the main line, because I was a red band, high power inmate from the beginning, and they messed up because their computer was down when I came in from the outside world. Even though I was coming from prison, they call it a new arrival. Even though I was coming in with people from the streets, I came in on a bus from state prison as a new arrival, just like those people from the streets. So they classified me. The computer was down. That's why I skated. I got out to the main line, and I had to turn away when I would see the deputies from high power, because they know me, and they would have said, "You, what the hell are you doing out here?" And they would have cuffed me up. And there I go to the high power module, red band, 1750, 1700, 1750. So I would have to turn away and act like I'm talking to somebody while they're passing by, hiding from me. So anyhow, when I ran up in that cell, they put me and the victim in high power, and while there, I see the dude Champ, and he starts bragging about him and that dude that I got with his program. That's why the homies were jumping him, and that's why he had to shoot the homie in the leg, because that they kept jumping him because they found out he was doing business with this dude. And I'm telling you guys, he's a ex-high roller. Well, I don't know if he still is. I haven't seen him in years, but this dude was a high roller, martial arts expert, big baller. And I guess the homie was taking guns from the little youngsters from our own neighborhood and selling the guns to this dude, and this dude was using them on us. So I found that, like, punk, you fucking shot the homie in the leg, and then we wore a wig, and the only reason they recognized you is because they saw Longo right here. Then you yelled out Westside Longo, trying to start the war back up between us and the West. So you gotta go, motherfucker, in my head. But I don't know. Of course, I'm not telling him that. He's like, are you mad, homie? Are you gonna get with my program too when you see me? I'm like, nah, homie, me and you are a cool champ. We grew up together, dog. Don't trip. Whatever happened between you and the youngsters, between you and Droopy and them, that's between you guys, homie. Me and you are cool, but in my mind, I'm saying, as soon as I get a chance, I'm gonna get you, motherfucker. And that's how we do it. In high power, they have a mirror in front of your cell where the cop walks behind the catwalk. You can't see him, but he can see you. It's a one-way mirror, or two-way mirror, I guess they call it, where you can see your reflection, but you can't see the guard behind the catwalk, because it's just you seeing your own reflection. So when they turn the TVs on, though, the light behind that glass, that mirror, once they turn on the TV, you can see it in front of your cell, the picture, and they have a speaker up there. But when the TVs are off, that's when they're walking back there. Even when they're on, they're walking back there. So the only thing you can see through the mirror is the TV screen, and then the speaker on top of the music, and they can still walk back there, and you can't see them until they turn on their flashlight. When they turn on their flashlight, that's when you know they're walking back there. They'll say, guard in the catwalk. Anyhow, so whoever sees a light come on, because it's dark back there. So sometimes they turn on their flashlight to see where they're walking, or whatever. See a rat, because there's rats and mice in there. So maybe whoever's working that day saw a rat and put the light on them or whatever, and that's how we spot them. There's a guard or a deputy walking in the catwalk. Whoever's doing their shit puts it away and lets them walk, and then you hear the gate slam close out there, and that means they're gone. So, alright, it's clear. Go back to doing whatever you were doing. Anyhow, so me and him are talking through the mirror. He's looking at me, I'm looking at him. He's in the next cell over. They put me right next door to this idiot, the champ. And I grew up with him, I really did. And it was fucking hard doing what I had to do, but I remember what he did to little Droopy, my little homie that I raised up. So I said, I'm gonna get this punk. Those are my boys, the youngsters that you shot up. Those are my boys right there. So, plus you're doing all dirt, taking their guns and selling them to this idiot that I just got you stabbing, and he's using them on us, so you didn't get dealt with, fool. So sure enough, I told him everything was fine. I couldn't get him though, because when we go to visiting together or whatever, I was handcuffed. I couldn't get out of my cuffs because they black boxed me in high power. They already know me there, so I couldn't slip my cuffs. I couldn't pick with a safety pin. I couldn't pick him because they had the black box over. So I said, I'm gonna have to get you whenever we catch a chain, because he goes to the same reception center I do. Sure enough, I caught the chain first, back to prison after I got my time and all that. A week later, or 2 weeks later, he comes. And So you guys know what happened there. Another case of I want to do it, homie. Let me do it. I'm like, nah, youngster, you're going home. I got this. Plus, he's from my neighborhood. He did that shit to my little homies. I got it. Don't trip. Little Chino from Pacoima. He's like, I got it, homie. I'm like, nah, homie, that's cool. Just go home. You're only here for doing a little short time. Just go home. I got this. I handled it. As soon as we went out to Dave, I got him and hit him in the neck. He started screaming like a little bitch. And I said, all right, fool. That's for the little homies that you shot and all that shit you did to the homies, motherfucker. And he's like, I knew you was gonna stab me, fool. Why didn't you just tell me straight up? I'm like, yeah, so you could be on your toes. No. And we ended up going to the hole together. They took me in because they didn't actually see me do it. Because I dove on my stomach and I handed it underneath somebody's cell and some woods. And they got it and bent it up and flushed it down the toilet. So they couldn't prove it. They saw me just dive on my stomach. That's why they took me, my celly, because we had them at the domino table. My celly here, me here, and then the homie from the area, harbor area, sitting there, and then him. We were playing dominoes, and then I got up acting like I was going to talk to somebody, and somebody took my hand and started playing dominoes to keep his mind occupied. And I said, I'll be right back, homie. I got to get at this fool for some. I just got to get at this dude, I told him. Made up an excuse, so I went to go talk to this dude, and the dude panicked because he saw me reaching in my sock, and I said, this ain't for you, don't trip. And I got up, and his back was turned, and I got him, and he just started yelling. That's why the guard saw me dive when he started screaming. Ah! I dove and I handed it off. See, kids, this is the kind of shit that you will be involved in when you hit that prison yard, because everybody needs to put their work in, see? Some of us are a little bit more extreme, but you will sooner or later have to do this kind of stuff. You don't just go to prison and program. It don't work that way. If you're a white boy, like a kid that mom said that his kid wanted to be a gangster, once he gets to prison, he's got to run with his people, the woods, you know, whatever prison gang happens to be, the Nazi lowriders or whoever, the ABs, whoever's on the yard, we're going to be running with that group, and we're going to be doing things of this nature that I'm talking about. So all this is happening on this one trip to prison. That's why they kept transferring me around, and I kept lashing out because I was mad at the world, them losing my property, putting me in cells, handcuffed with the enemies, and you know, all that started getting to a guy. So I became a very, how could I put it, very, what would be the good word for that? Amargo in Spanish means bitter. Muy amargo or bitter, very bitter. And I started just, doing things of that nature, that had to do with violence, because I was a mad and bitter young man. So it just kept getting worse and worse. You know, in the streets, me and my daughter's mom are walking to the liquor store, and Long Beach PD pulls up. One dude, he's a lieutenant. Actually, it was Captain Gillisy, something like that. He was a captain. He pulled over, and my old lady had a bat, and I was packing, and he didn't even search it. He said, "I'm just wanting to ask you a couple of questions, Mom." He says, "Your homies have been shooting at my officers, and I know you're one of the OGs from this barrio, Longo, from the east side. So I just want to know if you can talk to your homies and see what the beef is with us, because they keep shooting at my officers." And so anyhow, I said, well, I don't know anything about that, but I can't relay any messages for you either. It doesn't work that way, Gillis. You've been a captain here for many years, and you know that I respect, that you have a job to do, but you need to also respect that I have a job to do. Just like you can't relay messages from us, I can't do that either. It just doesn't work that way, so I'm going to have to take a rain check on that. I cannot work with you in any way whatsoever. I apologize, but I'm just letting you know as a man. And he goes, I respect that. At least you're coming straight forward and letting me know the way it is, you're not trying to blow smoke up my ass. You're straight up, and I respect that. I said, well, I have to be. Let's see, that's just me. Always been that way, always will be. So I apologize about them shooting at your officer and all that, but I says, you ain't gotta worry about me doing that, because I don't do all that. I says, I don't like bringing that kind of heat on the neighborhood. So I said, I don't know anything about that, and like I said, you know where I stand. And then he goes, hey, young lady, you know this guy here, right here, he's a legend. The gang officers from Chino prison told me about all those missions that you've been on, like coming out of your cuffs and hiding in that room. He says they still talk about that to this day. They still call my officers to tell us that story because we work alongside of the gang unit inside the prison, and they're always reminding us about that move where you slipped your cuffs and hid in the room. He told my old lady I was a legend. He didn't even take the bat from her. He told her, I'm not here for any of that. You guys can get on your way. If you got something on you today, is a pass. You get a free pass because I'm not even going to search you guys. He said, I respect that, Mondo, that you're straight up and, you're letting me know the way it is. And I respect that, he told me. I said, likewise, Gillisy. I know you got a job to do, and it's nothing personal. I respect you as well. You have a good day and be safe, I told him. He went on his way, and me and my lady went on ours. And she was like, damn, they know you real good, huh? And I'm like, well, yeah, you can say that. Anyhow, so this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about, kids. These jailhouses and the gangster life ain't nothing nice. I can go on and on about things I used to do. When I used to walk the hallways and catch people that had a green light. Me and one of the homies from the area, the harbor area, when we go out to visiting, after visiting, we would just roam the hallways with a razor blade in our mouth, one of those box cutters in the cardboard so it wouldn't cut our mouth. And then we would deal with whoever needed to be dealt with because, we were both on that viaje, on that trip, dealing with whoever had a green light, And now look at me nowadays. If I happen to go to jail, they would probably do that to me. See, what goes around comes around because I'm no longer pushing that line. Once you're a gangster, you always gotta be a gangster. So I know if I ever went back to jail, they would probably do that to me. So that's why I say I do my own thing these days. The jailhouse days and all that are over with for me kids. I don't push that line no more. I don't do anything that's gonna get me caught up. I'm just a law-abiding citizen these days, a square from Delaware. Nothing more, nothing less. So, I can just go on and on about the madness, the kinds of things you see. Homies walking around with their head blown off because some enemies just rolled up on us and blasted us. You guys saw the scars all over my body. Nothing to brag about or trying to be cool or hard enough. Just to show you kids the reality of it all. That's all. If I can help one of you, like that one lady that called me and said I got her son away from hanging out with the boys in the alley and all that, smoking weed and coming home and wanting to, fight with his mom because she's a single mom. If I can just help one of you in that same way, then I've done something that I can say I really respect about myself, because I, once again, would never mislead you kids. I'm going to go ahead and end it for now. I'll be talking to you guys next about the things that I did accomplish, like when I became a firefighter with the United States Department of Agriculture Forest Service. That was my turning point in life. Once I became a firefighter, all that gangster way of life I had to put a stop to it. Even my battalion chief, my superintendent actually, Mike, he's Mexican American, but he's half Native American and Mexican. His mom was Mexican. Mike Allred, our superintendent, one day he said, all that gang stuff, you can't bring it up in the forest, Mondo, up into our federal compound here, where, our government housing is where your barracks are. And my government housing, my mobile home is, and all the other battalion chiefs and division chiefs that live in this compound plus your barracks, the hot shot barracks, and the engine crew barracks. You can't bring all that gang stuff from down in the city up here. So if that's your intentions, you won't last long as a firefighter. And I said, no, Mike, I would never do that. I would never. Because we have barbecues and we invite our families, and sometimes gang members come up there that are related to some of the firefighters, like the little brothers, cousins. They come to the barbecues, but they do their drinking, but they don't get crazy. They don't do any of that gang banging stuff. They don't bring that up to the forest or federal compound is. So yeah, that was my turning point. And a little bit later, I'll get I'll touch on that subject as well. And it's best to do that, get a good paying job and have nice things, money in the bank instead of running around the streets. I later learned all this. It took many years, but somebody prayed for me. The other day, a guy from the west side got at me, and it reminded me that day that I took the message from the big guys to the west side saying that we should not be killing each other. And there was a big victory outreach on the west side barbecue. I guess it was a victory outreach because they had a stage and a dude was up there praising God on the microphone. And when I walked up, all the dudes from the west side were all lined up against the tree line there and eating out of paper plates because it was a barbecue. And like I said, they were praying on stage and singing up there. They had guitars and all that. They were preaching to the gangsters. And when I walked up with three of my homies. One of them's, I think, a cop now, Duke. He was a straight rider, though, when he was running around with me. Duke and Pache from the Playboys, the Puerto Rican doing life. And one little homie, I can't remember his name. When we walked up, I said, right away, I heard that's Mondo from the east side. That fucking puto right there. We're gonna catch that motherfucker. That's him right there. Before they could say anymore, I said, I come in peace. I have a message from you, from so-and-so. I just got out of Palm Hall, Chino. They want me to relay this message. As soon as I said that, they backed up off me. And you know what? The preacher that was there that morning, that day, that afternoon, I'll never forget. He brought us a plate of food. He heard my message about the peace, that we should not be killing each other. And I was eating my plate there, and he started praying over me. The other day, when that guy from the west side said he wants to come meet with me, he's a longshoreman, I think. Or he has some kind of a good job. I seen his profile, and he's an older dude from the west side. And he said, when I'm in Vegas, I want to meet with you and go out to dinner with you, me and my wife. When we're there, we'll take you out to dinner. And I said, sure. I gave him my cell phone number. And see how God works in mysterious ways. I told him about that day, how they prayed over me while I took that message to the guys from the west side, people from Victory Outreach. And see how God works in mysterious ways. I told him somebody heard, God heard somebody's prayers for me, because now look at me these days, drug free, prison free. I've been out going on 14 years now. 14 years I've been out since what was it, July of 2007. We're in 2020, so 7, 8, 9, 10, and 10 more. Yeah, 13. I'm going on 14 years that I've been out, prison free. So God heard somebody's prayers, and then it came to me after I hung up with him on Facebook. I said, you know what, maybe it was that day when I went and took that message, and that preacher man prayed over me and the other three homies that were with me from the east side. He prayed for us. Maybe God heard his prayers, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing today. See how God works in mysterious ways? Just by me relaying that message to that homie from the west side that wants to meet with me, that's seen my videos on the internet, working with kids as a volunteer boxing coach and what have you. He said, what you're doing is all good, homie. I'm from the west side. My name is so-and-so, mucho gusto. And I'm in Vegas. And I told him about that incident where I went and took that message to the homies from the west. And then they prayed for me once again. The church group that was there for that barbecue, I guess it's a yearly barbecue with the guys from the west and the church group, the church people. But anyway, I told him maybe that day I thought after I hung up with him, the day that they prayed over me on the west side that day, maybe that's why God heard that man's prayers, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing these days. Anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and rest my neck for now, kids. I'll be touching on some more things with you guys. Like I said, I'm not proud of any of this. All this is water under the bridge. I can't get anybody in trouble, including myself, because those days are over with for me. But if I can help any of you kids with my testimony, then so be it. Everybody have a good night. Take care.